3/16.
The tools available that you'll need to do this function are the 5/32 Allen head wrench and the 3/32 Allen head wrench, a small Phillips screwdriver. A Torx would be better. A T20 Torx would be better to adjust the pressure switch with, but if you don't have that tool available, it can also be adjusted with a standard screwdriver. Okay, go ahead. Lift the top and lock the top into position using the normal lever. If your unit has pressure in the tank, go to the back of the unit and unplug the unit and make sure it's off and drain the tank with the toggle switch on the back, the tank pressure switch to the off position. A little water coming out. That's the condensation from the water. Cup underneath that and catch that too. It stops draining. Okay, once the tank's almost fully drained, you can go ahead and shut it off. Next step would be to take the smaller 5/32, leave the unit unplugged, remove the bottom screw from the side cover opposite of the water bottles. Now take the 3/16 wrench and remove the 4 screws from the handle. These screws are actually have an anti-seize material behind them, which is relatively nasty with your clothes and on your skin as far as being messy. So you don't want to pull them all the way out, just leave them kind of loose into the handle. And just simply grab the bars and remove the cover and set it to the side. At this point here, you come in and make sure the power is off, because these are actually all hot wires. So you don't want to be putting your fingers on these. I'd be making a circuit right through myself right there. So be very cognizant of that. And this is the material I was telling you about. That's actually, get it on you and it smears really bad and gets into your clothes. You can wipe that off, or just be careful not to get it on you. Go in and remove with the Phillips screw the cover of the pressure switch right here. It's on the top of the tank, just above the relays. And then I'm going to take the standard screwdriver, which is the more awkward one to use. You'll notice there's kind of a slot right there. And go counterclockwise 8 full turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Point here, go to the top of the unit and pull the regulator up and turn it clockwise, fully open. Now go to the back of the unit and be careful at this point, because you're applying power, that you don't touch up into these areas. Push in, turn on the switch. Let the unit come up to pressure. pressure actually come up to just below 80, so we want to get to 85, which is just slightly below 6 bar. So now shut the unit off. Move the plug so you're safe, very safe. And do 2 full turns clockwise to increase pressure. Now plug the unit back in, turn the system on. Now that's actually a little bit high, so I want to pull the unit and go counterclockwise like 1 full turn. Plug the unit back in, turn the system on. It won't turn on at this time because it hasn't lost enough pressure. Now what you can do is just take your syringe and start losing air out of the air part. The gauge will drop. When it actually kicks on, let your finger off the syringe and bring it back up to pressure. So that is at 83 right there. So you want to go back maybe, actually shut off the unit, pull the plug again, and increase a half a turn.
Clockwise.
Clockwise. Plug the unit back in, turn it back on. 83 would have probably been fine. Hit the air syringe again, so the unit kicks on, and then take your finger off the air syringe. That's right at 85 right there. And that's where you want to be set at. So this point here, shut the unit off. Place the cover back on the power switch. Make sure it's unplugged. Go ahead and place the cover into position. Kill down the noise and add a barrier between you and electronics. And just go ahead and tack 2 of the screws for now. Plug the unit back in. Now what we're going to do is a cycle test on the unit. So we're going to take the syringe. We're also going to pull the high vacuum or the low vacuum out and turn it on. And what you're doing is just you press down on the button of the syringe and do a cycle of 15 times. This is telling you that the pressure set is truly working, that you'll no longer hear that popping sound. So I'm going to turn the unit back on at this point. Pull one of the vacuums, turn it on, And take the syringe. You'll see the gauge going up and down. Do this for 15 cycles, which is very brutal on your fingers.
So let it go for 15 cycles up and down through the range.
And then just shut the unit back off. Shut the vacuum back off, and I'll shut the unit off. So at this point here, now you can adjust your regulator back up to bring it back up to full pressure. So if you want to do that, go ahead and pull your syringe. Turn it on. If you want to adjust back, you can leave it at the 85, but if you want to adjust back to the 80, then just pull up on the yellow knob and turn counterclockwise to the needle. Moves back to the 80 psi. It might take quite a few turns because we opened it all the way up. There. Now you can actually cycle this if you want one time and see if it really is there at the 80. You can tweak in that with this knob here. Nope, still high. What I'm doing is releasing air out of the syringe. It's right about 80 right there. And that's it. So you can remove, finish putting in your screws. Shut off the unit, finish putting in your screws. The 4 on the side and the 1 on the bottom. So if any questions, you can phone back at these 2 phone numbers, the 1-800-426-5913 or the 425-487-3157, and ask at the front office to page George Anderson.